G'day guys, welcome back. My name is Wildkard. Thank you for watching the Wildkard Rugby Show. Like, comment, and subscribe. And yes, you are here today because if you watch my short, you will know that I have memorized the self-harm hotline phone number, which is 13, 11, 14, right? 13, the year the Brumbies came second. 11, the year the Reds won Super Rugby. And 14, the year that the Waratahs won Super Rugby, and yeah, I was this close for having to need to dial that number tonight against Japan. Eddie Jones and his rhetoric really got my mind in a bit of a dark place, but boy, I am relieved that the ultimate nightmare didn't come true. But hey, this gives Eddie Jones plenty to brag about. You know, whatever, Eddie, whatever. Now, firstly, I was a little bit grateful. Like, I guess, firstly, I'm kind of grateful that the, Australian coaching team, when it comes to the selections, didn't just jam the team with superstars and try to play into the mind games of Eddie Jones and put their own, developmental opportunity out of the way and try to make a statement, play into the media and all that sort of stuff. I'm really grateful that they did not do that. I gave the players an opportunities, some of the other players, the reserve players, an opportunity to really play this game. But I am also really just a little bit disappointed. I think a lot of fans are a little bit disappointed that we just didn't go out with, Swali'i, with Lenikitau, and just try to blow Japan out of the water to make a statement. So I guess it's, as a fan's perspective, as a fan, as a rugby I wouldn't say pundit, as a rugby professional fan on YouTube for the Wallabies, I really wanted to see like the grudge being buried and having nothing left for Eddie Jones to say. But I'm also really glad that the coaches have stuck to their own, planning and decided to put on the B team, and albeit a really close win and a lot of problems I'm going to talk about in a minute. But hey, at least that's out of the way. And I think that one of the most important things is that a lot of the players backed themselves out there. They didn't just try to kick penalties and win the game by 3 points. They backed themselves. They stuck to the game plan of trying to execute their advantage at the line out more. Didn't work out. Carlo Tazzano missed 3 tries from various close charges, and the Wallabies still backed themselves and didn't just go to the easy option. The conditions was pretty dreary. And the Wallabies were struggling to hold on to the ball a little bit. And Japan, with that loose style, a few of their individuals, the halfback, whatever his name was, we're going to have to figure out in a minute, was outstanding. Fujiwara was outstanding. And a lot of the forwards as well, with, Leach and Gunter fronting up the physicality in close quarters as well, and just holding out the Wallabies for a very, very long time and grinding that, momentum down from the Wallabies, which the Japanese team did really, really well and really, really bravely as well. So it is, one of those things where I'm grateful that we won this, and I'm grateful the Wallabies stuck to their guns and stuck to the game plan and really maximize the opportunity, right, to let everybody in the team have an opportunity to grow and develop their game. But with that being said, there are so many things that I still left scratching my head, wondering what exactly is the coaches kind of thinking. First of all, I don't know where this came from, but the coaches seems to swap the 10 out with 8 minutes left on the clock, like they did with James O'Connor in that last test against the All Blacks. Hamish Stewart came on a 10 to replace Edmund. 8 minutes left. Dalgunu as well came on 8 minutes left to replace, I think, Dylan Peach. So what's the point? I know, what's the point of putting these guys on with only 8 minutes left? And it's like, if you wanted to give everybody an opportunity, then you should be giving these players more time, especially you wanted to have, Dalgunu as that diversity player that can play both the centers and the wing. You want him to really come on earlier to cover the position that you want him to work on, instead of just kind of throwing on the last minute to cover a tired winger from Dylan Peach, who was outstanding again tonight. And also, like I said, I'm pretty sure, what's his name? The number 9, the reserve number 9, what's his name? Lonergan didn't even get put on tonight. I'm pretty sure he didn't get subbed on at all because Jay Gordon played all the way till the end. He's the one that kicked the ball out for the win. So Ryan Lonergan didn't even get a chance to come on. So I'm a little bit, scratching my head. You wanted to use this game to build the team, but then you don't really use the back line, back reserves at all. So I'm not really sure what's the mindset there. A little bit of a question mark there for me. The forwards are scrummaging. I thought the Wallabies had a little bit of an edge when Angus Bell was on. The Japan did put a few tricks out of the bags to get a few penalties. There was a couple of scrum, at least one, where they got a penalty for not really holding up the hit. Just went straight down, and that should be the penalty against Japan. But Ben O'Keefe somehow thought that was a penalty against the Wallabies. A little bit inconsistent there, which, my opinion, maybe the wet conditions confused Ben O'Keefe a little bit and looked more like a slip on the Wallabies. But it was clearly that Japan not holding up the hit and then just deliberately pulling back a little bit and letting the Wallabies fall on their faces and looking like they pushed early. So I didn't really, definitely, it's one of those thing you pull out of the bag. If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And some referees would interpret it differently. Depends on the circumstances. And Ben O'Keefe definitely fell for that one in this game. Another problem with the Wallabies as well is that they're a little bit afraid to go wide. Again, you have a lot of new players out in the back line. You've got Paisami, you've got Hamish Stewart, and Josh Fluke was starting. I think at the beginning, what was it, Josh Fluke? Fluke was starting. So you have a lot of these players that hasn't really played for the Wallabies so far this season. Really, the ball didn't go out wide that much. There was one nice set play from Edmund that was clearly planned out that led into a try. But outside of that, the team was very hesitant to spread the ball out wide. I know it's a bit wet. And then, just a lot of forwards doing the brunt of the work. There were times where you're just like, when Tizano got denied 3 times in close quarters, maybe there was a sign to go a bit wider. But, not sure what's happening there. There wasn't much of a wide width that was played in the Wallabies side, whereas Japan was happy to spread the ball out wide, finding space out wide, and really looked dangerous when they did get their hands on the ball and play those wider channels against the Wallabies. And that comes to my next point. The Wallabies defense, at least with this setup with the back line, I know it's the B team, but clearly the rush defense did not exist. Players were just waiting flat-footed for the Japan to run at them. The only player that looked like there was given the instruction, understood the importance of rush defense was Corey Toole, the winger. He's the only one, if you look at it, is the only one, the back line will push up a little bit, and Corey Toole is the only one that will actually go up and shut down the wider spaces to give less room for the Japanese winger to work with. The other ones, especially, I think might be Fluke, but I don't want to put him in the hot spot here. But the Wallabies backline was not really rushing up, especially Fluke in the rush defense situation really need to go up and shoot out. Really, maybe they're just not confident in doing that. It is a very risky move. One-on-one tackle is really, really important. Being a really good one-on-one tackler is really important. So maybe they're just not confident with that and try to stay in line. But when they do that, everybody's flat-footed, and you just have the Japanese teams basically able to maneuver a lot of depth, work with a lot of depth. The point of rush defense is not just to just shut down the width, but to also shut down the depth in their attack line. And so that was just leaving a lot of depth for the Japanese team to work with and attack and potentially go around the player as a result. So it is definitely looked very, very dangerous in the second half, especially when the score got really, really close. Any sort of a number of times, if the Japanese team hasn't dropped the ball when going wide, they could have probably scored out wide. It was that dangerous looking tonight from the Japanese team. So and also the kicking wasn't that accurate as well for the Wallabies. The Japanese, I guess Japan may have done a little better in the kicking game as well. It is a slippery, but not really able to find that 50-22, not really able to find that angle. A lot of the balls were just kind of like, not really able to find that pinch into the corner, forcing like a 50-22, at least close to 50-22. Not able to find that for the Wallabies at all tonight. The lineouts, the maul was absolutely outstanding for the Wallabies, but they just rushed it a little bit, I think, in the first half, especially when it was going too well. Maybe just once they steadied it up, Carlo Tizzano finally got the 4th try from a slower setup instead of a rush setup as well. And the Japan also had a bunch of yellow cards for repeated penalties, and the Wallabies weren't able to capitalize more than just, really not able to capitalize on their one-man advantage as well. So all credit has to go to Japan for that as well. And the Wallabies were, just clinching on to that tiny lead at the end, and getting that job done is just, was really too close for me. And I think a lot of Wallaby fans was a bit of a heart attack inducing performance towards the end there. And so other than that, I think that's all that I really want to talk about. So some positives, some negatives, but I'm just glad that Eddie Jones will have plenty to talk about. Pretty close, mate. Building towards the future, mate. Brave, mate. We play brave rugby. Just conditions are not that great, mate. If Commodore Sports has gone to hands, would have scored, mate. The Wallabies did really well because I gave them the opportunity, mate. All that sort of shit that comes out his mouth. But he'll go on and say that. And one of you brave souls actually watched watched Eddie Jones' podcast. Apparently, he claimed credit for where the Wallaby is today from his building towards the future. When Harry Wilson not even selected when he was the head coach. Champion de Kripney, I saw Newton coming through, and most of the players on the field, Eddie Jones didn't even give an opportunity to. So again, a slap on the face to Eddie Jones. I'm pretty sure most, if not all, the players. Angus Bell, I think, definitely played for Eddie Jones there. Josh Naser, I think, played as well under Eddie Jones. Jalen Williams definitely did not. I don't think Salaka Lotto played under Eddie Jones. Tazzano didn't play under Eddie Jones. Valentini definitely did play. Gordon played. Edmed didn't. Peach, probably not. I don't think he did. Hunter Paisami, maybe. Fluke, no. Toole, no. Andrew Callaway, yes. So most of these players did not play even under Eddie Jones, under his building towards the future plan. So I guess that's a good way to slap Eddie Jones, but he will keep his mouth running. And boy, thank you for watching that bullshit from Eddie Jones and let me know what he said, because I sure do not have I sure will be triggered if I watch anything come out of Eddie Jones' mouth. I'll just start breaking stuff in my house. And so thank you for your heroic effort in doing so. So anyway, let's have a look at the match stats of the game. 2 tries to 3 for the Wallabies. Actually more run meters to Japan, especially in the second half. They really picked that up. 389 run meters to the Wallabies, 316. There was 15 defenders beaten for Japan as well by going wide. So really well done there. 10 for the Wallabies there. 21 turnovers conceded for Japan, 12 for the Wallabies. Wet conditions, drop balls, a line-out pressure, all sort of stuff has gone against them a little bit. 221 tackles made from Japan, only 10 missed tackles. That is extraordinary percentage, tackle completion rate. Wallabies 154, 15 missed tackles, 10%, not too bad either. But boy, 5% missed tackle, less than 5% missed tackle rate for Japan is absolutely outstanding. 23 kicks in play for Japan, 29 for the Wallabies. 1 miss for both teams in terms of penalty or conversion kicking. We've got 517 kick meters from hands from Japan, 665 kick meters from the Wallabies. Eddie Jones is going to be like, I lost the kicking game, mate. I lost the kicking game. I'm a bit surprised that they did not do more of that, considering Eddie Jones' reputation and love for the kicking game. 15 lineouts won for Japan, 1 lost. 12 lineouts won for the Wallabies, 4 stolen against the throw for the Wallabies. No scrum loss for either team, but the Wallabies had a bit of an edge, I think, overall. Not too much. I think pretty even overall, in fact. Penalties conceded, 10 against Japan, 2 yellow cards for repeated penalties. Essentially, 7 penalties against the Wallabies, no yellow cards at all. So that being said, let's do a quick recap of the points summary of the game. A bit of back and forward between the two sides. No definite advantage until 12 minutes. There was a repeated penalties against Japan. A tap and go for the Wallabies. Did not take the 3. I was really grateful. It looked like they were thinking about it. They were tap and go, and then just a bunch of piling in. And eventually, the new captain, Champion de Kripney, picked and go for the try. 7 points to 0 for the Wallabies. 17 minutes into the game. Yellow card against Japan. Looked like Tazano scored as well. He was screaming at the referee, and the cameras didn't have enough zoom to see Tazano scored. He was screaming like the ball's on the line, but no footage was shown, so no try, but just a yellow card. 27 minutes with a yellow card on still. So just after this, Wallaby piled in for more against 14 players and could not score. So Japan finally get themselves in a turnaround. 27 minutes in, still 2 minutes yellow card. A couple minutes yellow card. They kicked 3 points, 7 points to 3. And then, you know, this is what I think that a lot of team makes a mistake, because Japan finally wrestled back the momentum, immediately kicks to 3, and suddenly the Wallabies are back in the momentum train. They had in the 30-minute mark, there was a scrum for the Wallabies, sent to, you know, around halfway point. This was a set move, nice little pass around. There was like a backdoor play for Edmed, and then Edmed flat ball to Andrew Callaway, who ran through a gap and linked up with Fluke on the inside for the try. It looked like Edmed's pass to Callaway was a little bit forward. I'm gonna be really frank with you, but anyway, they went for the try. 3 points to 14. 36 minutes on the clock. There was another more from the Wallabies. Yellow card for collapse. And this was a huge more. The Wallabies probably marched like 15 meters. It looked like Tazano ran through for the try. Apparently he was held up. It looked like surely the ball scraped the ground at some point, but there was no camera angle to see clearly, so he was just held up when everything like stopped moving. But there was another yellow card against Japan for illegally collapsing the more. The tight head prop got sent off. And then the Wallabies went for another more. The Wallabies... again, the Maul was just like running away and then went through for the try, and then turns out there was obstruction. The Japan really didn't like challenge this more at all, and the Wallabies kind of just got bundled up amongst themselves a little bit, and then blocked their own, their own receiver in a bit of a messy point, because Japan didn't resist, so their players was running kind of like pulling through. The lifters were pulling through and basically obstructed as a result of that. So no try. Tazano denied this one. 3 tries denied already in the first half. 3 points to 14 at half time. 53 minutes in the end, Japan has an opportunity for a 5-meter line out. There was a lot of physicality from Japan, and this was a lot of there was a bit of build up in the midfield, and then switch back to the blind side. The big prop runs in and he slipped out of the tackle from Jeremy Williams, and Edmund was just too small to stop a big number 3 crashing over for the try. Takeuchi goes in for the try. 8 points to 14. 57 minutes of the game. Finally, the Wallabies gets another line out. They win for another more this time, taking their time to set up more properly, and then march through for finally Tazano. 4th time the lucky goes in for the try. 19 points to 8. After this, Aiden Ross came on, former All Black, debuting for the Wallabies. I didn't really get that much out of the scrum, to be honest. 61 minutes in the game. Fujiwara, the number 9 from the Japan. The Japan was building a lot of momentum. He just really, I think there was a scrum, midfield crash ball, and Fujiwara looked up. There was a massive caterpillar post position. He just picked up and ran straight through, got really close to the try line, and then pick and go try from Gunter from Japan. 15 points, 19. More Wallabies lineup was stolen after this, so really starting to get heart rate up for the Wallabies fans. 68 minutes in the game as well. The hooker from Japan, what's his name? Hayete Ira. Massive shot on Robinson. And Robinson had been taken off for a HIA. He got absolutely crushed in that shot. And then Japan gets a scrum there as well. And then finally, with about 8 minutes left, the Wallabies put on Stewart and Daugunu, and then just, grinded down the clock, holding, and then finally getting the win, kicking the ball out on the last second of the game. 15 points, 19. Nice clutch win for the Wallabies. And this was way too close to comfort, but I'm glad that the coaches stuck out their guns and not just... I guess that's a positive there. Plenty to work with, and plenty of games to go. And this a win is a win. And boy, could have been worse. Could have been a loss. So thanks for watching, guys. Like, comment, and subscribe, and see you guys next week for the news. Cheers.